Go.
Hello everyone and welcome to SpaceChem 2024 tournament. I am your host Dariush and I will be co-hosting with my co-host IEEE. I am responsible for the levels you will be seeing today and in the following weeks, as well and as other innovations such as results after the stream and etc. etc. So if you will have something positive to say about those, you can tell them to me.
Yeah,
IEEE.
this is like my fifth one, and I am responsible of score collection, handling the SpaceChem tournament bot, which by the way is provided by Zig. Thank you. And also checking that Darius puzzles are not too much out of left field. I think we can start with the test round. This year's test round is, like, you know the name. The name is super long.
It's not the longest round name in this tournament, however.
Yeah, that's great. It is called here I have it here. Come on.
Generalized Pseudo-Chemical Synthesis AI test number 2024-0.
Great. That's a great name to start, and this is the test round, which means it is not really a round that it's done competitively, but it just needed to check that the contestants setup works, that the host's setup works, and we had some issues yesterday, to which I am sorry for. And
did we? I think the round ended just a few minutes ago. You must be misremembering something.
I mean, let's say it that way. That's okay. So you may want to talk a bit about this puzzle and what makes it special.
Yeah, okay. Before we talk about this puzzle, let me say that the theme of this whole tournament is roughly drawback SpaceChem. In basically every level, you're going to have either a special rule or a special metric or something else that makes it not quite the usual SpaceChem fare. You've seen it in week 0, you've seen it in week 1, and you will be seeing it in the following weeks. So, for this level, this will serve as an introduction to this idea, so it has the simplest rule restriction. In every tile, you can place at most one symbol. Usually, of course, you can place up to 4, two blue and 2 red. But this time you are limited to 1, meaning that the reactor can have at most 80 symbols. And of course, what IE is showing in the corner is not allowed, and in the middle is also not allowed. So to compensate for this restriction, the level is quite basic. You are just making C2H6 out of carbon and hydrogen. No fusing, though you can have a split. You have a splitter, so this level is clearable using only alpha input, only carbon. We will be seeing a few solutions that will be using those. They're quite beautiful, I have to say. But other than this is a fairly simple, fairly common puzzle. And one more thing, you may notice that usually test puzzles give 0 points, but this one gave 1 point compared to 10 points for normal levels. Simply so I have something to punish people who break the rule. Okay.
Yes. Okay. So we have the rules of this puzzle. Let's talk a bit about its technical makeup. So you have 6 bonders, which are very comfortable amount, and some per usual of some campaign levels that you build like ammonia, which is H, 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 and that's nitrogen, but I mean this general T shape will tell you that there are very easy ways to do this with some arrangement of bonders like this that are able to pick up 3 hydrogens. So 6 bonders is kind of luxurious, and this was intended for the test puzzle, because this is not really testing the contestant skills. So Dariush promised style points to anyone that could have made it with only the alpha input, and so people went for it. Of course, this is a cycles puzzle, so if you do it with just the alpha input, your score is bound to be terrible, but I mean, it is the test round, whatever. So we are starting now with Nurture, and you may notice here that there looks to be many solutions by Nurture. This is just used to hide the list of participants, because this year we are showing results after the stream. So this is Let's Plays.
For added suspense.
Yes, for added suspense, or added annoyance, as other people could put it. So this is our first solution by Nurture, and this looks very complicated because Nurture goes from style points. Like normally you would use a fun solution to go for style points, but again, this is the test round, so it doesn't really matter. So by the presence of a splitter here, you know he wants to go for an input alpha solution, and he puts out 3 carbons, and notice that you have 1, 2, and then 6 hydrogens. So this is all the inputting he needs to do. And at this point, splitting carbon into hydrogens is kind of annoying, because you pass through lithium, and yeah, let's speed this up a bit. You pass through lithium, so you get 2 hydrogens, and then you need to run this around and bond it back. And then red has a 4 counter, so it has an extra empty loop. Then blue comes back, puts the lithium back in, and the whole cycle is redone. Like, notice how this is extremely restrictive, because you have only 80 symbols to work with, and so even things you could think you could do, like put the symbol here or put a red symbol here, all stuff you cannot do. And this gave me some trouble into making test solutions, because my instinct is like, oh yes, let's put a symbol here, and here. So this gets this becomes a very complicated restriction, so the puzzle is not as simple as the base one. So congratulations to everyone that was able to make the alpha only.
And there will be quite different approaches to this alpha only solutions, by the way.
Yeah, so let's go on with this. We will see some more of them into the fun solution, so let's just get this to the end. And we have the last solution. Now, you should remember this 2000, because this doesn't really compete with the other solution we'll see, but it competes with the alpha only solution. So this is a good benchmark for what to expect about them. 50 symbols, 2000 cycles, so remember this. Now on to the next, which is Nighthawk, who I think is a newcomer to the tournament, or is it the name of someone I don't recognize? Let me know in chat which is which, because I don't want to mix a faux pas. Now this is also yeah, someone let me know, just let me check. Here's a new guy. Hi Nighthawk. And
Hi Nighthawk.
This is like he started with a style point solution, so kind of a way to get in the community.
Yeah, that's a very good idea.
Yeah, so this is 65 symbols, so nearly filling the reactor, and it has that kind of spaghetti solve of people that cannot really play well SpaceChem, but it is not spaghetti at all. It is just the restriction is very, very strong. And so he also inputs 3 carbons all at once, because again this is all you need, and then it does it very differently, in that he builds the classical shape, but sadly you need to build this way, and so it takes a lot of time to bring all the hydrogens here, but the bonding is extremely simple, because you just bond in and then rotate and go. Yeah, so this is slightly faster than the other, and don't ask me why, because the method is completely different. Like, the bonding is much simpler, the transporting is much longer, and it ends up being slightly faster. Still, even just getting this done at all is kind of impressive, and even just the fact that we checked them, there are no mistakes, and there is just one symbol per tile. Even just getting it down is just impressive as is. Hydrogen here, goes in, and it is done. So let's run this to the end, and this is the last of the input alpha only solution that are scoring ones, and all the other ones are in the fun solution. So you see, this is roughly the same ballpark. More symbols, a bit faster, makes sense. Now, we will start seeing from Ventusinis, who again I believe is a newcomer, some more conventional approaches. So as you can see, this is much lighter because it's not going for style as from the input betas, and from now on no solution will go for style. And I call this the easy way to do the puzzle, because you grab a carbon, you bond it 3 times, and you see blue helps, and you have half of the input done. Red does the simple job of making alves, and blue transports them. Here we go. Like this kind of structure that you have one Waldo doing half of a molecule and the other Waldo handling transport and bonding and working with them. It's very difficult pattern, and it is something you see in many solutions, and especially in the beginning round of a tournament. I like focusing on generic SpaceChem techniques so that newcomers to the game or to the tournament scene can have some idea of tricks that the pros take for granted. And this is one of them. This is one Waldo that does, you see an obvious symmetry in this output, which is you have to do 2 times this and then just rotate bond. So you dedicate one Waldo to do alves and another Waldo to end them. This of course is a fine way to do it, but it could be done much simpler and also faster, and we will see ways to improve on both counts. Remember that this was a cycles puzzle, so people want to go fast. 5,000 cycles, we are getting into the ballpark of good solves. Next up, spiritual shampoo. The metric, what is the metric? Let me fetch the full title. The metric, right, the metric can stop me because I can't read. Well, it turns out he can read because the solution respects the symbol restriction. Of course, this is very clearly a symbol solution, and you can see it by the bond plus hammering. This is a classic of symbol solutions. And this also uses the easy way to do a puzzle. Oh no, it doesn't. This does another thing, which is kind of the easy way to do the puzzle, but instead of building this part first, it does up and then down. So he bonds them both and then bonds them down, and then it comes back.
This is a kind of middle ground between the earlier solutions, between the quote-unquote basic solutions where you make 2 halves separately and then fuse them, and the good level solutions you will see later where
no spoilers,
you don't
no spoilers.
Okay.
No spoilers.
Okay.
And yes, the good thing here is that you spend time bonding them, but you still do 2 passes. So this is not going to score especially well on symbols nor on cycles. Still, it works, respects the restriction, and it is much faster at 400 cycles. Let's go on. Ending May, quick solve. And this looks more complicated, but really it is very similar. As you see, it starts very similar to the previous solution, but then instead of doing a back around on a flip-flop, it goes through another path and keeps adding hydrogens. Now it's something I call crystal construction. This is very typically used in many many levels where even if the output has some obvious symmetry, the cycle solution very often forgoes that symmetry and just builds a whole molecule into a single crystal. And you can see this, there are just so many levels, like 2 of Hearts probably is the most impressive one, or Red Cross, like many levels that the author intended them to have symmetry, but the cycle solution just builds a crystal moving one Waldo around. And this is a case of such a construction, and it's just not particularly fast, because, well, you would really like a symbol here, but you cannot. You would really like a symbol here, but you cannot. So blue cannot make full use of the limited space he has around here, and so it comes up not so fast. Red comes around and helps, and this sort of solution usually have an handoff, and we will see that later. Onward. Also, this looks bad, but you cannot make more efficient loops without putting more symbols on the same tile, because the normal way to do this is like this, but you know, you cannot do this because you have 2 symbols. Onwards. Oh wait, sorry, let me show it. 300 cycles. Now we have username void, actually not half bad. Yeah, but we are getting around 0.1. Okay, here we get back to the easy way to do things, which you see by this bond. Blue does half molecules, and red handles them. This had much more potential than shown in the previous solves, and this is a very compact and efficient implementation of the easy way to do the puzzle. Now, because red and blue are completely disjoint, there is no risk of symbol overlapping, and this just goes through naturally. Like, looking at this doesn't even look a solution that has the restriction, besides from some weird choices of symbol placement, like you would really like an output here, but you cannot, and whatever. And that's because the very nature of this has 2 disjoint values, so little need of more than 1 symbol on a tile. And with this, we are getting into the solutions that are fast enough, like starting with 2. Cycles starting with 2 is the range of solutions that are fast enough. Now, with some suspense, will there be solutions that are below 200 cycles? Onwards. Now we have SEM 314, which has another similar solution. Again, you can see that this means inputting a lot of agents, but this looks much more like ending maze, in which he builds it like a crystal going around, and this comes up much faster because red does 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hydrogens, and blue picks it up and does the rest, which is just 1, but this just not having to fit another double back with red grants you a massive speed boost. Now, this solution really cannot find a spot to output, and it needs to wait from here that you would put it up to here, that is the first place you can put an output without incurring into real problems. Yep. So these crystal solutions can go much faster. As you can imagine, you have red is doing not much in many parts of its loop, and we will see faster ways to do this. Still, we got down a lot. We got down a lot, and we are going down still. So the chat suggests that there are faster ways to output by red. Let's just see them. And yeah, definitely. Yep, 36. Now let's see, GG goal. Alright, that's an overlap, yes. You see, this rule gets me, damn it, this rule gets me. This is the first place red can output unless I rejigger things. 2 for 4, which is still better than the original one, but not by that much. This rule is insidious, Darius. Why did you make this? Why did you make this? Because, you know, even if you... Yeah, the original was... You know, even if you put useless symbols like this with every arrow, you still think you can put a red symbol here. Like, one will need to fill everything like this, and it just becomes a mess.
Well, you can just you can just reprogram the rules of SpaceChem in your mind.
No. At this age,
Yeah.
my mind is now, it is burnt in, and it doesn't change anymore. No.
Don't worry, it won't be the last reprogramming for this tournament. It will come in use for later levels.
Let's go on. This is GG Gold solution, and again it puts
which was not top half as he guessed, by the way.
Yeah, like, you know, as I was saying the other day in chat, SpaceChem contestants are really not good at guessing their placement. It is not their fault. The game is very hard to, as a big search space, and it is very hard to know if your solution is good in some absolute sense of good. And this solution, of course, it's good, but it is not very good. So it doesn't make top half. And of that day, there are many other failed predictions. So, it picks up 2 carbons, so that means that means that it's gonna be some crystal solve. 1, 2 hydrogens, 3 and 4 and 5, and rotation, and blue has done all 6 hydrogens, which doesn't really bode well for extreme speed, and red is just carrying around. Now, of course, you have a lot of command to issue when doing this, a lot of inputs, pluses, and so you cannot fit them all on blue, so red does a huge lot of them. And this is a fine crystal solution, but the fact that blue is handling all 6 of the hydrogens points to the fact that maybe there is a slightly faster way to do this. Still, at 2 to 6, we are getting close. Next, we have Astro Nelson with his 6th solution, apparently. Oh yeah, how is this called, Darius?
It is called Avogus.
Great. What is this?
It is a shape that we will see, well, a few times, let's say.
Yes. This is this thing, and we will see this a few times. Why we will see this shape a few times? Well, if you see this very simple loop, guys, please don't. This very simple loop has made...
No, lazy comment, I did not make it Among Us reference. Among Us stole my idea.
Please stop.
Unfortunately.
We already had an Among Us reference 3 years ago. It was cringe then, it's cringe now. Hundreds.
It's called post-irony, my friend.
Let's go on. So this very simple loop has made 5 hydrogens with no rotations, no runarounds, very simple loops. And remember, in this restriction, very simple loops means you can fit more symbols. So this has made 5 hydrogens, and that just drops here. And here it comes the way this is faster than GG Gold solution, because blue just picks it up and makes the leftover one. And blue can spend all the time issuing commands while running it out, and so effectively having very little wasted time. This also makes no risk of overlap because the walls are extremely disjoint, like there is a wall column where there is nothing in. And the reason we will see this shape very often is that if you want this very simple thing on the bottom, you need to pick stuff this way at the top. And so really there is not much choice. You cannot go left here because there is input alpha. You cannot go left here because of this input alpha. So kind of like those logic puzzles where you need to fill in squares on paper. This is forced. This is forced. This is forced. This is forced. This is forced because you cannot go left here because you need the grab. And this is forced. And also the stack placement is forced because it is the nearest placement to the grab. Because again, you cannot put it here or you will force an arrow here. So this entire shape, you may not like it, but this is what the peak Waldo shape for this level is. And now there is a bit more freedom on blue, but not that much. You need to grab here, you need to bomb here, and then you need this flip-flop here because red has one rotate. True or 4? True or 4? And as you can imagine, it doesn't get much faster than this. Like this is already pretty fast and in the ballpark of the top solutions. Next one, Darius one, corner cutting. Oh yeah, now it's blue. Alright, we can talk a bit about this, I guess, because not everyone knows it. This is a wall flip-flop. This is a very useful technique, and you can see it used in many contexts. This is the only way SpaceChem has to provide a one-cycle delay, because it is very easy to provide a two-cycle delay, like maybe not in this level, but in general. You just do this. It's a two-cycle delay. This is a 4-cycle delay. This is an 8-cycle delay. So it's a 6-cycle delay, 8-cycle delay. Easy. But how do you make a one-cycle delay? Because if you go up, you have to go down, and everything is even. The only way to make a one-cycle delay that doesn't rely on some external things like, you know, rotation of a molecule that has no issue being rotated or syncs with the other Waldo in some particular way. The only good way is this one. Because what happens is that you hit the flip-flop, you wait a cycle, and then you go away. And this is the way to introduce odd delays in your solution. And this is something you see extremely often in solution where we do Waldos do jobs that need to be synchronized, but not with sinks. So this is typical in symbol solution where you need synchronized jobs, but you cannot spend symbols on sinks. Or in cycle solution where, I mean like this, you have every space used and you just need this one cycle delay without spending symbols or more buffering. Of course, once you can make one cycle delay, you can make the 3-cycle delay, a 5-cycle delay, a 7-cycle delay, etc. Okay, so let's go on. Darius one, corner cutting. Again, you may recognize the shape. This is a very similar solve. Yeah, sorry. Okay, this is a very similar solve. Same loop, same rotation. Red comes down and wants it. The difference here is that the synchronization is done by this rotation instead of a flip-flop here. So this can output in a slightly better location and get a bit faster. Also, it can share this input beta, but this is not a symbol metric, so it doesn't matter much.
This is not a symbols metric, but symbols would have come very useful in here, for reasons you'll see in a second.
Yep, because this is the start. Now, at 196, we are at optimal throughput. The solution cannot get faster. You can really go faster than this. It is just about who drops first and who uses the least symbols. And this is 196, and now we have Team Secret Foundry, who is, do you have the people at hand, Darius?
1 second. Who is Team Secret Foundry? Yellow Bunny. Yellow Bunny is gone. Who's that? Oh no, he's here. Hello, hello, Yellow Bunny.
Okay, so they made this, well, spoilers, 196 cycle solution, which, I mean, you might recognize, looks pretty similar, and the only difference is that blue doesn't rotate, so he has this flip-flop here to sync up, and red is doing the rotation. Here we go. Again, looks pretty much like the other one, just that red is rotating, and it takes 30, notice that it takes 31 symbols. This is the same 196 of Darius one, but it's less symbols. Now, this looks, yeah, thank you, this team is Yellow Bunny, Lazy Comet, and Leo 80,000. So, this looks like a good solution, right? Does it, Darius?
Approximately 80,000. Yes, it does.
Yeah,
it is such a good solution that
we
will see.
We will see it again. And this is the same exact solution. Same exact solution. But the solution is so great. By the way, this was 6. The solution is so great that the Commonwealth, which is, remind me who is the Commonwealth. I think this is Britboy,
Brookie, Oz, and somebody else.
Yeah, and Jojo. The Commonwealth has the same exact solution yet again. They have blue doing the rightmost loop and red doing the leftmost, but I mean, it's still it. Yep. But as you can notice, we are not done. So this was not the optimal way to do things, and there are ways to do it a little better. So now we have a big mango head with, I mean, again, kind of the same thing, but you will notice that there is no flip-flop here, and there is no rotation, so this is going faster. Now, remember what I say, that there is no really way to go faster here? Well, it kinda is, but as you can notice, it takes a long time to drop. So even if you gain 1 cycle per output, you lose a lot in all the time it takes to come here, and then you cannot output, and then you cannot output, and then you cannot output because of the rule, and then you cannot output. So this comes up on top. And by the way, notice this weird symbol here. Now, if you counted it, this is 1 space before this one, so it would want to go here, but it cannot. So our weird rule just made this thing right here, when in a normal solution you would just have a thing laid down right here. The rotate the sinks. Oh, right. No, it doesn't. Big Mando Head says to me that I said something stupid, that they rotate the sinks it. I don't think he's right.
So I can jump in and explain that real quick. So, like, on the first time it's going around, you need to have that alpha input at that exact cycle, but the first time you're going around, red isn't holding anything, so the rotate doesn't delay it by 1 cycle. So you would need...
Yeah, but, okay, well, just a moment. This is a 194. Compared to this 196, so it gains 2 cycles, because it goes faster, but it gives away most of the time. Now, what I wanted to say is this, and let's see if this works. No, where did I mess it up? I guess, yeah, I am one too
Yeah.
fast.
So it's because the rotate doesn't slow down red.
Ah,
And
yeah,
so
it,
you need to have.
it is because I cannot read, yes. It will need to be something like, yeah, this alpha needs to be timed. And I got it, I got it. It needs to be timed, and otherwise it's timed wrong, yes. Makes sense. Now, Vipumei, sub 200. And did you think that solution was great? Yeah, because you're seeing it again. And he has the input alpha slightly different, but it is the same solve yet again. It's just that this as red do this hydrogen, but it's the same thing. Because this is kind of free, so you can do whatever you want. This is still 55 symbols. This is still. Oh no, I was wrong. This is 193 cycles. Why is this faster? Why is this faster? Oh, I guess you can put the output here. Yeah. Instead, because you drop one over, you can put the output one sooner, so it's one faster. Yeah, my bad. Sorry, Vipumei. Congrats on getting out one cycle. Here we go. Next, Toffot. Thank Darius and I thank you to Toffot.
Oh, thank you.
Now Toffot has, it looks kind of the same. It looks kind of the same, and if it has the same output here and grabbing here. It has the same drop here, which is really the only place you can drop this big molecule. And so, what's different about this? Well,
What's different is in the bottom right, he reuses the input alpha, which, well,
exactly.
is one symbol less.
Exactly. So, this is a 193 as we had, but it is a 34. So, as you can see, this is the same 193.55, now 193.54. The difference is that this is not here anymore because things are rejiggered so that these two can be collapsed together. And well, this solution was great. So Rex Kicks did the same. So we have two winners with the same exact score, Rexic and Toffot. Yeah, Rexic was.
That was the first place. Those were that was the tie for the first place solution.
Yeah, I mean this is the way the scoring of this round works. I guess we didn't talk about that. Essentially, everyone that submitted gets 1 point. So you're first because we need a metric. Otherwise, the whole bot thing doesn't work. But this is 1 point, more or less the same as anyone else. Still, it still counts as a win. And congratulations, Rex Kick. I mean, Toffot is used to winning by this point. I guess he has won dozens and dozens of rounds in his gigantic SpaceChem career. But congratulations, Rex Kick, because I mean, while it's the best round, it is still a win. Now, Vipumei is crying, I guess. Okay, now that we have seen all the solutions, we can take a look at some fun one, and there is some interesting stuff there. Where are they? Here it is. So first we have Darius test solve.
Let's move on.
No, this is a solution, and as you can see, it does the simple way. It makes up a crystal and then bonds things, but it bonds them in a way that is complicated, and it just does it the way. So it does bottom and then left and then right, and then picks it up and outputs it. Now, when we were brainstorming for levels, I saw this and I was like, this is overcomplicated. This is overcomplicated, so I made this, which
is very slightly simpler.
Yeah, this is mildly simple. mildly simpler, and this is the easy way to solve a level in a very simple symbols optimized form. I mean, this is back when the puzzle still didn't have a metric, so I was like, yeah, let's try symbols, and this is a reasonable symbol solution. As you can see, as a symbol puzzle, there is really not much to it. Like, you can optimize this a little, and we will see, but it is very dry. So the puzzle became cycles after this was done. And at 19 symbols and 516, it is one of the best symbol solution, but it is designed by Vipumei, which does it in one symbol less. As you can see, the concept is exactly the same. He has smarter looping. So instead of like I go around and around here and waste some arrows, it does this shape here and then goes right, and it is one symbol less, and it's also slightly faster because it runs around less. And this is the best symbol solution we received, and I am pretty confident that if this was a symbols puzzle, more or less everything would have looked like this in some way or another. Now we have Darius one, and I want an explanation on this because I'm not sure I get it. Here we have two Waldos that respect the metric, because you see there is no symbol overlap, and both as a single Waldo solution they solve the level. So this is red, and it does the we could say it's the simple way to solve the level, but it is not simple at all. So you see bonds both address Bonzen, and this run in 1600 cycles. But if you do this, turn off blue, turn on red, turn off red, turn on blue, this also solves the level. And
I have to say, I love this, and this is definitely getting a style point.
Okay. I mean, it's using input beta, but the fact that you can pack two solutions respecting the metric is kind of impressive. Of course, you could easily add a couple sinks and make them a bit uglier, and like do one output blue, one output red, one output blue, one output red.
Yeah, I really like how this leverages the restriction to make something interesting, because of course if you didn't have this restriction, you could just make a single Waldo solution and duplicate it, and it would not be interesting. But this is very good, because the two Waldos do very different things.
Yeah, and the blue one is lower. Next we go to username void, which also tries a symbol solution, and he has the same beta part here, but he has a more complicated assembly where instead of using a flip-flop he has this run around, yeah, which costs him a bit more symbols compared to Vipumi and myself. Still, nice try. And then we have, GG goal is style solution solved. As you can see, it only uses input beta, and if you remember, we saw input beta solutions at around 2000 cycles at 50 and 60 symbols, and this is 40 symbols. This is the least symbol solution of the input alpha only solves, and kind of an impressive job of doing nearly everything but bonding with red value. And he does it by splitting these in place, making the drops on bonder block, then grabbing this in, and then bonding, and then outputting. Yeah, kind of an impressive job. And if we were to, as I said earlier, if we were to give this as the symbols puzzle, it would not be very interesting. But as a simple puzzle with just the alpha input, this would probably be good enough to be given as a tournament week. I just believe it will be nerve-wracking, but probably still a good puzzle. It is not particularly fast, but it's also not terribly slow. At 2300 cycles, it's just barely slower than the solutions we've seen, and it cuts up a good 10 symbols over them. Then we have Team Secret Foundry with a true single value solution, which is kind of easy way to do things. You just have to put the bond plus here and do some run around. And it doesn't cost you much to also put the arrows here, so nice looking and kind of simple. Yeah, not having the bond plus hammering costs you a good bit of symbols. So remember the bond plus hammering technique. It is very useful. And then we have top thought, alpha input only. This is another alpha input only solution, and at 60 symbols it is very loaded. Again, remember 80 symbols is the maximum you can put in this reactor, and he is clearly going for speed. As you can see, he inputs everything, he leaves the 2 carbons bonded, and it does everything to minimize cycles, and he gets it around. As you can see, we are just a bit over 100 cycles and we have made an output, so this is going to be much faster than the other input alpha only solutions. The algorithm is the same. You split the lithium 3 times here, do flip-flop magic so it works, and then come in and well. Blue handles essentially the carbon chain and all the attachments, and red handles the splitting. It is kind of impressive that this is weaved so that no 2 symbols are in the same tile. Again, I don't know how much time top thought spent on it, it's not going to be trivial. And this is way faster than the other input alpha solutions, clocking at just 1400 cycles. We have Team Secret Foundry with another input alpha only, I believe. This is way longer. It's way longer because it bonds one by one multiple rotating, so it has this giant counter that passes through half of the solution, and it takes a while. Still, doing an input alpha only solution is still an accomplishment on its own, so congratulations to Team Secret Foundry regardless. This is the heaviest and slowest solution of the bunch we have, clocking in at 2400 cycles and 70 symbols. It is nearly all full. It doesn't look it, but it is nearly all full. And in the end, we have Big Mango Head, which had made a solution of the simple kind as a showcase, but we have seen this already one. I don't remember who made it. They have very similar score. This is probably the best compromise between simple and readable and fast. Okay, I think we've seen them all. Yep, we've shown what solution. Darius, do you want to say something, or do we want to introduce next week's part?
No. Let's introduce the next week.
Okay, great. So let me fetch it. In the meantime, you guys can write comments on chat, and we will answer. Wait, I cannot find it. Just a moment. Where is it? Okay, here it is. Now you would say the poem, right?
No, I'm not going to read it.
What do you mean you're not going? Come on, that's
it's long. It's long. I don't want to.
So the level has a poem attached, which I recommend you read because it's a work of art. And here's the level. You say the name because it's so long.
Rumpelstiltskin the Nuclear Alchemist.
Okay, great. So this looks much more complicated. Tell us about it.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Tell us a bit about it, like where.
Okay. So this level is well. First of all, we get obligatory fusing. The nuclear mass is fairly simple, but the point of, if it was only fusing, it would be fairly simple. So the main core of the level is in the restriction. The restriction is that when you output radium, it must have been split. It must have at some point been a part of a molecule of at least 32 atoms of radium. This was inspired by Opus Magnum and its infinite snake chains. The metric for this one is okay, how do I put it? Max Waldo symbols is the higher of the two color of Waldos. So, for example, if you have 20 red symbols and 10 blue symbols, then this metric will return 20. Afterwards, it will be multiplied by the number of bonders used. For the new base here, a bonder counts as used if it has any adjacent bonder. So, in other words, every bonder you use makes every symbol more expensive.
Yeah. So
Yes.
what you want is balanced Waldos. So because of a metric, this is not good. This is good.
Well, it's not that it's not good, it's just that if you have a bunch of red Waldos and a few blue Waldos, then you basically get free blue commands. So why not use it?
Right. So I think we've said enough about the level. So leave the contestants to struggle with it, and we'll see it.
One last thing. As you can see, we've got a new metric parameter in week 0, namely symbol footprint. We are getting a new metric parameter in this level, namely max Waldo symbols. And this is not the last new metric parameter, you will see. So look forward to it.
Yeah, we may as well thank Zig, who did the actual implementation of all these new parameters into the bot.
Oh yes, thank you.
And into Schem,
so
which is our automated level checker. So I think that's all. See you guys next week, and goodbye all.
And in 2 weeks technically.